The 2024 season has long been over, and the 2025 season gets closer each and every day. But just because the Detroit Lions season didn't end where we all wish it did, doesn't mean that there weren't memorable moments. The Lions had a franchise record 15 wins last year, which is something we honestly may never see again. So even though the season ended leaving a sour taste in Lions fans' mouths, I still think it's important that we remember the 2024 season for being the best regular season in franchise history. And that's going to be what this series is all about. We're going to look back at the season that was to remember some of the best moments that the Lions had. Whether it was a jaw-dropping highlight, a crazy comeback, or a dominant drive, the moments that made up the 2024 season are worth revisiting. So join me as we count down the top 10 moments of the 2024 season for the Detroit Lions. We have made it, friends. We have made it all the way through this series, and we have now reached the number one moment of the 2024 Detroit Lions season. And through the best regular season in franchise history, we have truly seen it all. We've seen some incredible moments, from awesome trick plays to walk-off field goals to just awesome games in general. We've seen it all, and now it culminates today in this final episode. If you're new here, I highly recommend checking out the playlist with all 10 moments on the channel, and while you're there, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. So without further ado, let's just jump into the best moment from the best regular season in franchise history, and it happens to be the biggest regular season game in NFL history. Week 18, the 14-win Lions hosting the 14-win Vikings, winner take all for both the NFC North and the 1 seed in the NFC. And it really cannot be overstated how monumental this matchup was. One of these teams was going to get a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and the other would have to start the playoffs on the road the following week. Now, obviously, we know in hindsight that it didn't end up mattering, as both these teams failed to win a single playoff game, which honestly is absolutely hilarious. But at the time, it was the biggest regular season game in NFL history. The first time that two 14-win teams were vying for a division title and the 1 seed. It just was the biggest matchup. And heading into this game, I was admittedly pretty nervous. I knew there was a pretty good chance that the Lions would win because the Lions were just a fantastic team last year, at least in the regular season. But the Vikings just had the voodoo magic going all year, so I was a little terrified. On top of that, the Lions defense was practically dead at this point, and Justin Jefferson really does like to show up in these games against the boys in Honolulu Blue. So Sunday Night Football, the biggest game of the year, is also fittingly the last game of the year, at least of the regular season. Detroit rocking the black jerseys. We are ready to go. So the Lions get the ball to start this game, and things are a little timid early on. You know, the Lions relying on short passes in the run game, but not much going on, so they have to punt. The Vikings also follow that up with a rather timid approach, both defenses kind of feeling each other out, both offenses feeling each other out. It's kind of like the start of a big boxing match where no one's taking any big risks early. They just want to settle into the game. So 8 minutes in, we only have 2 drives down. Neither team has crossed midfield. It was a very slow start. Detroit gets the ball back on offense, and again, they're kind of just relying on these shorter concepts, but then the dam breaks a little bit as Amon-Ra St. Brown gets the first big play of the game, 23 yards into Vikings territory. But then a few plays later, the Lions drive stalls out, and they get into a 4th and 5 situation where, it's the Lions, and it's Dan Campbell. They're going to go for it, but it's a very sketchy situation to be in, and the Vikings, they show zero. They line everyone up on the line, and it's not a great look. That they're going to get pressure on this play. And get pressure they do. They end up having a free rusher off the edge, but Jared Goff stands in an incredibly poised throw to Jameson Williams. Goff knows he's going to take the hit, but he holds on for just an extra half second so that Jamo can get open on the shallow cross. He picks up a first down, drive keeps going, and it would pay off because the very next play, Jahmyr Gibbs finds a gap, just that tiny little opening, and with his acceleration and burst, he hits it and takes it all the way. Lions open the score on a lightning strike of a touchdown. After the teams traded a couple more punts, the Vikings were looking to answer, and they went on a long drive of their own, getting inside the 10. And after running the ball on 1st and goal from the 5 down to the 3, the Vikings opted for 3 straight passing plays, and those went as follows. Throwing the ball away, a pass way too high for TJ Hawkinson, and a pass too high for Justin Jefferson. The Lions' defensive front gets enough pressure on Darnold to rattle him a little bit. The secondary holds up, and the Lions' defense gets a huge goal line stand. But then a bad thing happened. You see, Jared Goff kind of got away with one in the end zone, throwing the ball away while under pressure. Could have been intentional grounding, could have not. It's one of those 50-50 calls. The refs opt not to call it, but a few plays later, that karma comes back around as Goff is trying to just check it down to Craig Reynolds as he's under pressure. The pass just didn't have enough juice on it. It gets tipped and picked. The Vikings are right back inside the 10. And the Vikings once again put the ball in Sam Darnold's hands on the first play, nearly an interception as Amik Robertson steps in front of the pass but just can't hold on to the ball. And by the way, Amik Robertson asked to cover and shadow Justin Jefferson all night. That is just absolute psychopath behavior and exactly the kind of mentality you want from a corner. And then on back-to-back plays, Darnold again throwing too high for Justin Jefferson. The pressure seemingly bothering him. Darnold, I don't want to say seeing ghosts, but certainly making some very questionable throws. And the Vikings, 6 straight incompletions inside the 10-yard line, have to settle for a field goal. Then the Lions offense gets back to work. They get over midfield, but on 4th and inches, the Lions run a play action, which is good because the Vikings would have stopped the run. They got an incredible push up front, and the pass is batted down at the line. Turnover on downs. The Vikings would then take the ball down into field goal range inside the red zone, but once again, failing to convert a red zone drive into a touchdown. They settle for 3. It's 7-6. And then the Lions, with mere seconds remaining in the first half, hit a couple nice plays to get into field goal range, and Jake Bates drills a kick from 48 yards out. So we head to halftime, 10-6 Lions. And then to start the second half, a very rare miscue from linebacker Jack Campbell as he just completely misses his assignment, leaving a chasm in the middle of the defense. And Cam Akers cuts the run back inside, and he runs the play down all the way inside the 10, down to the 5. The Vikings once again have a goal-to-go situation. After the first down run went nowhere, the Vikings once again put the ball in Sam Darnold's hands. He was forced to check it down on 2nd and goal to get the Vikings down to the 2-yard line. And on 3rd and goal, the Lions front once again forces him to throw it away. And then on 4th and goal from the 2, Darnold is able to escape pressure and extend the play, and he tries to hit Jordan Addison coming back towards the front of the end zone, but rookie corner Terrion Arnold sticks with him and gets a diving PBU. Once again, the Lions defense holds and forces a turnover on downs inside the 10-yard line. So naturally, on the first play after that, Jared Goff heaves up a prayer and it is promptly intercepted. Just horrible execution, a horrible play design, a bad time to call a shot, bad throw by Goff, and Jameson Williams also kind of gave up on the play as well. Just bad all around. Off of that turnover, the Vikings would get into field goal range and kick another field goal to make the game 10-9. And at this point, the Lions offense knows they gotta wake up. The defense has been bailing them out to this point. They need to strike. So Jahmyr Gibbs gets the Lions going. He gets them over midfield, but after a negative play and then a penalty, the Lions get backed up to 2nd and 19, where Sam Laporta makes a big catch to get them down to 3rd and short, getting all that yardage back. And then, once again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amon-Ra first down with a nice catch to get the Lions inside the 30. And after a few more Gibbs runs, the Lions were able to get it down to 4th and 2 from the Minnesota 10. And on 4th down, you know the Lions are going. Jahmyr Gibbs on the angle route or the Texas route, whichever you prefer. For you Madden players out there, you know it's unguardable. And if you've watched Jahmyr Gibbs, you know that he's unguardable on that route against a linebacker. He gets into the end zone for his second of the day. The Lions extend their lead to make it 17-9. And then on the Vikings' next drive, another pivotal moment happens. Now, this is off of the back of other pivotal moments, mainly the 4th and goal stops and failures from the Vikings' offense, stops by the Lions' defense. The Vikings get into field goal range and they get into a 4th and 4 situation, and Kevin O'Connell gets conservative. I'm guessing that he got scared from the failed conversions inside the 10. But he gets conservative, he sends his kicker out, and when you stop playing to win and you start playing not to lose, you're gonna get punished every single time. The 51-yard attempt is no good. The Lions get the ball in great field position. They work it down into the red zone, and once again, Sonic would strike. Jahmyr Gibbs, 13 yards out, again, just bursting through a gap that's this big. There's not room. There's barely any room, but he's so shifty and slippery. Jahmyr Gibbs gets the hat trick. At this point, 24-9, Lions fans start the celebration. The Vikings' next drive, the defense would step up again. Al-Quadin Muhammad closing out the drive with a big 3rd down sack. The Lions once again get the ball back, and at this point, you're up 15. Time is starting to wind down. It's time to go in for the kill. And Jahmyr friggin' Gibbs starts off that drive with a 47-yard run because he is just unbelievable. Add in a few more Gibbs runs and one Laporta catch, and then Jahmyr Gibbs inside the 5 caps off the best season in franchise history with his 4th touchdown of the night, a 170-yard, 4-touchdown performance to clinch the NFC North for the 2nd straight year and clinch the 1 seed in the NFC. Obviously, there was a little bit more game to play, but 31-9 is what the final score would end up being, putting an exclamation point on this incredible Lions season, and also marking the Lions 4-0 with 4 straight 30-plus point performances against the vaunted Brian Flores defense. So that is it, the conclusion of this 10-part series. Thank you so very much if you've been with me every step of the way, even if this is the first episode you've caught. Thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video or this series in any way, please consider hitting the like button down below and subscribing with notifications turned on. A couple of days ago, I did release my week 1 roundup recap of what's been happening at training camp so far, and I'll be back with another one in a couple of days after the Hall of Fame game, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you don't miss any of the upcoming content, and until then, my friends, cheers.